I keep giving bad people good ideas.
Hello, welcome back to another random little commentary. This one is kind of going back on a topic that I kind of talked about in the past. Well, I was talking about which is better, weed or alcohol, and I ended up kind of leaning towards like weed, and everyone has their own preferences and shit. But today's video, we are diving a little deeper, and we are going to be talking about, is it better to get illegal weed or legal weed? And when I say legal weed, I'm really more talking about like buying from like a friend or a plug or whatever the fuck than going to the dispensary. I'm not talking about the synthetic shit. If you're smoking fake weed, get some help, get some Jesus in your life. But besides that, today's video, we're gonna go over both of them, and I feel like both have their pros and their cons. And I kind of obviously lean more towards going to a dispo if you're able to, like you live in a legal state or you're obviously the legal age. I'm not gonna go condone people to go out smoke when they're 16 or some shit, but was I that person? Maybe. So again, I can't really go out and be like, oh, like this video is only blah blah blah. It's like people are gonna do what people are gonna want to do. So with that being said, if I don't know, if you end up doing some stupid shit, ain't my fault. But that's all I'm gonna say. But pretty much. With dispos, why I like going to dispos, they are convenient, and especially if you live in like a smaller city or there's not as many people. Why is my cat my cat's climbing on shit. Well, if you live in like a smaller city and there's not as many people, not as much traffic and shit, they're always pretty convenient. And even in bigger cities are always convenient because they're always there, they're always open, and you can just slide by, get what you need, and get out of there. As like kind of with a plug, you kind of have to hope homie's not working that day, or you gotta hope he's not busy at that moment. And if he is, you gotta wait an hour or so. And either way, with most plugs, it's like even if they're not busy, you'll probably wait in an hour or so, anyways. So the conveniency of just kind of going in and out, and just kind of having it always there to your convenience, that is kind of nice about going to dispos instead of like buying off like plugs or friends and shit. And then one thing that is kind of a downside though is again, this is like another thing I was saying in the beginning of the video. I'm not gonna condone it. I'm not gonna go tell little Timmy that just got into high school to go smoke weed. But theoretically, if you do, and like you're like me, you smoked in high school and shit, like a little dumbass delinquent you were, pretty much, it is a bit harder to obviously get your hands on it, but honestly, once you're in high school, a lot of people are just selling it on the side to make an extra like 20 bucks, so usually it's not too hard. But the quality, like finding quality shit, is very hard because a lot of people will try and straight up just scam you, or they'll like do fuck shit and not even sell you actual weed, and then they'll like sell you like shit that looks like weed, or they'll like they're selling weed, but they'll like not even give you nugs. They'll give you like the shake at the bottom of the bag, and you're like, what the fuck is this? Or even like sometimes, like again, just the quality, sometimes it's like just grown in someone's room or someone's fucking garage, so you don't know what pesticides that could have been used on it, you don't know how it was cured, you don't know the whole process they went through, you don't know really the history of the weed. It just kind of, it's there, it exists, and hopefully it won't get you sick. So that is a big downside, obviously, buying off of friends or some shit. And I feel like with dispos, you can still kind of run into bud that can fuck you up. If you don't notice, at every dispo you go to, Stizzies are on sale for like 30-20% off. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's so cool, it's cheap, I'ma buy it. And it's like, yeah, go ahead, do that. And it won't kill you necessarily if you smoke a stizzy cart, but they have went through hella lawsuits recently saying that they have pesticides in their carts, that their carts will get you sick over time. And that's why they're cheap. And that's why dispensaries are just trying to get them off their fucking shelves. Is because they have all these lawsuits going on. And they have all this product. And technically, Stizzy's still, like, going. And they're still, like, they didn't shut them down completely. And hopefully Stizzy does, like, get their shit together and they fix their issues. And pretty much that's why they're all fucking cheap as fuck right now. Those are these deals, because dispensaries are just trying to get them off their fucking hands. Because either way, people that already know that these carts can get you sick over time. Oh, well, it's cheaper, so okay, it's not that bad, I'll buy one. Or people that don't know at all, they're like, oh, instead of buying a cart that won't get you sick over time, that has been tested and is proven, hey, this is a good cart, this doesn't have the issues that Stizzy has, no, not gonna pick that one because it doesn't have this like 30% off, 20% off deal. And then people are going to get the Stizzy card without knowing that, yes, in the past they went through all these lawsuits and shit. Again, I'm not like some expert. Again, I could be a bit wrong with some of the information I'm saying. But that's at least what I heard because I even brought it up. I'm like, why are Stizzy cards so cheap? And that's kind of the rundown I got. But pretty much, there are issues like that you can run into with dispensary bud too. And again, I won't just say like you're gonna like hit this cart and you're gonna start flopping around on the flopping around on the floor like a fish and have lung cancer and die. But again, they have tested these carts. Say, well, like these carts are not that good. You guys probably should do some. You guys gotta do something about this, and we probably shouldn't sell these. And a lot of dispensaries, instead of just taking the product completely off the shelf, because it's such a popular brand, Stizzy is one of the #1 brands, they just discounted them. Which is a little scummy, but like again, you can't just be like, oh, it was only this company. All fucking every dispo's doing it right now that holds Stizzy products. They have them discounted because yes, they went through all that legal fucking shit. And again, I'm not like an expert with that whole case. I don't know exactly like the whole issue was, but I know it was probably on the lines of pesticides or shit that was in their carts that should not be in their carts, that was getting people like sick or fucked up over time. And again, I feel like really at the end of the day, when it comes to your experience of going to a dispo, because a lot of dispos, if you go to a ghetto-ass city, like you go to LA or some shit, all that shit's gonna be locked up like you just walked into a fucking, like, Walgreens in Compton or some shit. Not trying to sound fucked up, but like all that shit's locked up. You can't really look at it. You can't really, like, examine your product unless you have, like, I want to say bartender, but bud tender, kind of like helping you already or some shit. Luckily with me, I live in a small city and we have pretty low crime, so they just leave it out for you to grab and then you take it to the cash register and buy it. So it's kind of cool because you could kind of examine your shit. And I feel like a lot of dispos should run that way, but then a lot of the time in like shittier cities or bigger cities, you can't really do that because you got shitty people that would just grab the product and run out the store. So with that being said, some dispos are pretty good experiences, and you can really learn a lot, or at least get your mind wrapped around everything that's going on, and kind of get a good understanding of what you're putting in your body and like the percentages and how everything works. As well, really with buying off the street, number one, you don't know if your bud could be cut with anything. You don't know if it's synthetic bud. You don't know the exact percentage of THC. They could say is Gorilla Glue, but it's not really Gorilla Glue, and they're just saying that because it's a big strain name and they're just trying to get the product off their hands. So there's a lot of factors, and if you don't know what the fuck you're doing and you're buying off the street, you can get fucked over really quickly by getting just simply like you handing over your money and they're a sketchy person and you're not thinking, hey, I probably shouldn't buy weed off sketchy people, and they just drive off with your money, or they just sell you fake fucking weed. So with that being said, just kind of know what the fuck you're doing, especially going to dispos. Just because it's a dispo doesn't always mean they have like good, amazing fucking product. You definitely want to double check your shit and double check like just a place we're at and just how everyone's moving. If everyone's moving professionally and everything seems professional, then you're probably gonna end up with a good product. If you go though and it's all ghetto as fuck, it tends to likely you might not get good products. And again, a lot of the dispos are pretty good in my area. That's the Saddle dispo that I go to sometimes, but not really, because they're just those selections smaller than the Saddle dispo I go to. But they have like funny shit. Like I think I saw one car was called like Alaskan Thunderfuck, and I was like, huh, I want to try that, but I feel like that might not be good to put in my body. But I tried it. The car was good, and it was fine. But just since they don't have that big of a selection and it's more of a smaller store, I just tend not to go there, and it's kind of more out the way. So I'm like, less of a selection, farther to drive, why go? But pretty much, my whole idea on is, as long as you know kind of what you are doing, buying off of a friend or buying from a plug isn't that bad, as long as you can trust a person and they're not some scummy fucking piece of shit person selling fake stuff or running off with people's money. Most likely, whatever, you'll get by. Again, if you're buying off of a plug just so you can save money or you don't have that much money to spend, you probably shouldn't be buying weed in the first place, so put that in your mind. But again, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and sometimes this really does help people, and they are just tight on money, and they gotta do what they gotta do, and just, buy the little $20 eighth or some shit. Not trying to shit on people, but again, a $20 eighth gets taxed the fuck out of in a dispo, because you're gonna buy a $20 eighth and walk out spending more like $25 to $30 because of all the taxes. But again, you pay all the stupid taxes, but you do get the comfortability of walking into the store. You have the conveniency of the store, and then you do have the conveniency of knowing the information about your bud, and you know the source of it. As really on the street, you save money and you don't have to pay all these stupid extra taxes, but with that, you don't know the source. You don't know really the history of this bud. It just kind of is there and it exists in front of you now, and you either smoke it or you don't. So that's kind of my whole thoughts on it. Comment down below what you guys think, and yeah, I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye, guys. So I swear